That was a blast.
Absolutely, that's where I'm at.
About now and
Yeah.
Full set of on-car adjustments. Good evening, Facebook land. How's everybody doing? Awesome show. I think we are at a record number of people to tune in within the first minute and 9 seconds. We've got like 15 people on already. Ryan, you are a superstar.
Oh, thanks. It's good to hear. Glad somebody looks at it that way.
I got to throw this out there because it's something we just got to do. We got to throw the bing bong out right off the get-go. So tonight we got the one and only Ryan Kirkwood, UMI Performance on. What's going on, Ryan?
Not much. Good night tonight so far. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Hey, Ramey's diming people out already.
Oh yeah, tell him I didn't get a chance to clean the shop up. This was a last minute. This is a last minute location here.
Oh man, that's awesome. So how's everything going, brother?
Good. It's been good so far. Year's been pretty good. Seems like February starting to go crazy. I'm assuming tax money's coming back in, so tax season's always a good time for us. So we're getting excited about that. Starting to realize that winter's kind of coming to an end, and a lot of our projects we planned aren't quite done yet. So there's some pressure there in life right now. So
mad dash to get ready for the track.
It's always so easy in October to say, hey, we're going to do this over winter, and we'll say that all winter long. We got all winter to do this. And all of a sudden it's March, April, and we're kind of stuck. So
well, I mean, if they're Optima types, they've got about, given travel and everything, they got about a day and a half to finish up their car before they've got to be on the road to get down here to Sebring.
Yeah. Well, this might have been one of the first years too they've done this early, isn't it? February? I don't maybe before, but
I think anytime they've ran down here, I think they do.
Is it? Okay.
No, you're right. Normally, I think March is the Thunder Hill event's usually the first one. This is the first year for this early. So
it just seems like the season gets longer and longer every year. It used to be, at least for Pennsylvania, it's May to maybe September, but with the travel and everything, you can race all year long.
Oh, I know it. Well, I'm down here kind of prepping and getting ready to make the move down here. And it rained all day yesterday. So it was like rainy, but it was still 50 degrees during the rain. And today it's 70 degrees in mid-February. I'm like, all right, I can live with this.
We had 30s, but the sun was shining, so it was nice. It melted some of the snow. So,
yeah, that's good. That's good.
And it makes a sloppy mess.
So I want to throw this out real quick because this will give you a chuckle. Jeff Gordon wants to trade you the cone bolt for the Camaro.
Oh boy, he's doing a lot of work to that though. So I don't know, might be a good trade here soon.
Might be a good trade. Just to make sure, sell it to him as a roller, no motor.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, the body.
No,
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that done, and excited to see it back on the track. So Jeff he's always done some impressive stuff with that. He's determined.
He's a wheelman with that thing. He's definitely a wheelman. I mean, last year he was able to pull off the drive autocross win for the championship, and then King of the Mountain. He keeps bringing this up, so we're gonna throw this out. Sorry, Tim. I know you were first to say it, but it's
that's right. Yeah, because we had the picture of him leaning over his car praying, and he's on the start line. He's praying.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been prepared, Jeff. I'd have brought that. We could have threw it up. So.
Oh man, that would have been funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I'd love to find some ways. We talk about every year at King of the Mountain to find different ways to, the way our classing is with the 4 classes, it does make it tough for a front wheel drive car and other cars to get in. So we've hashed out classes every year, try to find new ways. And not that we haven't figured out anything better, but it's hard to find something that's drastically better and that works for everybody.
I mean, classing is classing. You're going to tick somebody off and you're going to have somebody complain.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I think the only thing you could do to really make it even field for everybody is just bring all the dirt back into the track, right?
Yeah, and just make all the locals happy. Yeah, the whole 10 or 12 of them that are complaining about it.
Oh gosh, that's too funny. So Ryan, let's talk a little bit about UMI. Like, okay. where did you guys get your start? I mean, your 20th anniversary just passed.
Yep.
And it's an awesome thing to see, because I remember learning about you guys years ago from Brent Percival, one of the Brian Finch events that was going on back then. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about your guys' history and background.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of give you maybe the quicker version of it. I've worked with my dad ever since I was 8 years old, Josh. I've worked in a machine shop. So 8 years old, he started a machine shop. I worked every weekend with him, Saturdays. We had an old G-body wagon. We'd haul steel in. So we'd go up to the steel mill and pick up steel. And so I got my start in machining with him. Kind of fast forward into high school. I worked with him. I took the DO program in school, got out of school early every day, and went to work with him, worked in the machine shop from maybe 2 p.m. till 9 p.m. every night, and then worked weekends. When I graduated high school, really had no interest to go to college. All I knew was I wanted to own my dad's machine shop someday. That was kind of like my goal in life, was just to own it, So 18 years old, I came out of school. I started working in a machine shop. I kind of graduated from running a machine into help controlling production and management. And so I was managing a machine shop, controlling production. After a couple of years of that, the few companies that my dad was doing business with had sold out to their overseas competitors. Mm-hmm. So his machine shop at the time had kind of dropped from 25 people down to maybe 5 or 6 people, and kind of just struggling to survive, to stay along. So my dad one day was at a local junkyard, local salvage yard, and he came back to the shop, and he was holding a throttle body spacer in his hand. Did you ever see those cheesy throttle body spacers?
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have a couple myself.
Okay, yeah. So he had this throttle body spacer in his hand, and he came into my office, and he was like, "Ryan, can we make these?" And I was like, "Why in the world would you ever want to make one of those?" And he's like, "I think we could make these and sell them." At the time, our machine shop was kind of going through a hard time, so anything we could do for extra cash, was a good thing. So I said, "Dad, that's the stupidest idea I ever heard. Nobody's going to buy those things. It's cheesy, right?" So he said, "Well, I want you to make it." So I went out to the shop, and Jerry, who still works here today, was the one of our main machinists at the time, and programmed it. It was for a Dodge Ram. Yeah. So one of our employees had a Dodge Ram in the parking lot. We pulled his throttle body off. We stuck this spacer on to make sure it fit. We went to the local hardware store. We got the gaskets. We got the hardware. One of the big gimmicks of the throttle body spacer was kind of how it swirls the air. Yep. So we went in and changed. We come up with our own design to kind of move the air through the throttle body, and we machined a batch of these and put them on eBay, and they sold. They sold instantly. That's awesome. So kind of embarrassed to say that UMI didn't start as chassis parts, but so we started with these spacers. This went on for a few months. We pulled every guy's vehicle that we had in the shop or that worked there. We pulled in and designed a spacer for it. So if it was a Silverado, we had a Chevy Lumina spacer at one time. That's awesome. And then we got into the Hondas. So we had Honda Civics that we were building these spacers for. And the Honda guys loved it because we would take a throttle body spacer for a Honda. We would make it bigger to fit their throttle body if they had a larger millimeter. And then we were drilling and tapping nitrous ports into them. Oh, God, so, yeah. That was doing really well. So the problem with it was it didn't excite me. It was extra money coming in, but it wasn't really an exciting thing to me. It was kind of cheesy. So my good friend John, who owns Track Spec Motorsports right now, he was going to college at Penn State, so we were good friends. We were in a couple car clubs together. He came to me with, I don't know if it was a print that he found online, or I think he drew it in one of his CAD classes at school. But anyway, it was the torque box reinforcement for the Fox Body Mustang. Yep. So it was where the front control arm bolts into, the rear control arm where it bolts into its front mount in the car. There's a torque box, and if the car would launch, it would start to pull this torque box. Yeah. So he drew this up. I think he drew it up. So he drew up and brought me this print, and he said, "Hey, Ryan, can you make these for me?" He said, "Plus, I think you could sell them. There's only one other company making them." So we drew it up, CAD, machined a couple sets. I welded him a set up, and then the extra couple sets I had, I put on eBay. And they sold for, at the time, eBay was big. So we'd do the auction, start at 99 cents and let people bid them up, Yeah. So they would bid these things up like crazy. And we just kept building these batches of torque boxes. And to the point where these guys started getting on online forums like StangNet at the time, and I think there's a couple other ones, and they were talking about this guy who's building these reinforcements on eBay, and he's selling them. So they started calling the shop, and they were like, "Hey, I bought your reinforcements. What else do you make for my car?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't make anything else. This is all I have, And kind of the light bulb went off, So I had a Mustang at the time. John had a Mustang. I pulled my Mustang into the shop. We had no lift. We were doing it on the ground.
Yeah.
I jacked it up. We built the rear upper reinforcement for it, started selling that, built a couple other widgets for it. And it just kind of started the evolution of chassis parts.
That's so cool, man.
As much as I was I was more of a GM guy, but the Ford Mustang was the popular thing at the time.
Yeah.
I started doing some research and kind of realized that the GM market seemed to have a little bit of a void in it for parts, where you could go to eBay and you could search Fox Body Mustang and you could find about anything and everything you needed. But when you searched Camaro, it was like your options were very, very limited.
That's so surprising, because it's like everything in the world seems to be made for F-bodies now.
Yeah, it was different 20 years ago. It was different. So we had built the rear control arms, and we built a Panhard bar and subframe connectors, and man, we just started hammering away at parts. And just to be honest with you, when it started, Josh, this was just cash. This was just extra cash we needed to try to save our business. I had no business plan, no vision, other than I just knew, that we wanted to survive, and survival kind of clicked and turned to a company. And here we are today, 20 years later, and still making all those same parts, except for the spacers. We got rid of the throttle body spacers.
Oh man, I was going to say, I'm looking for a Chevy.
Yeah. Oh, we were doing all different colors. You could get a blue one, a yellow one, a red one, a purple one. It was cheesy.
But, man, you had a purple one. Don't tell Chris Brown. He's going to call up on.
Actually, you know what? Not Chris, but Jeff Gordon. I could probably dig in my box of leftovers. I probably have one for the cone bolt in there.
The old cone bolt.
Yeah, the old cone bolt.
He's going to need that extra plenum volume for trying to spin that little thing to 8,500.
Especially if he's going to win King of the Mountain. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so the suspension stuff came on as just kind of like let's just start trying this stuff, and it was selling.
Yep.
And so started out with the Mustang stuff, moved on to the F-body stuff, and then your guys' catalog kind of expanded from there.
Yep.
Now, I met you guys through Brent Percival.
Okay.
We were racing at Run to Music City. It was the last one they ever did. And Brent and I met, ironically. I'm going to tell the story real quick because it's hilarious. But at the time, I was racing a 5th gen Camaro, and I had a 72 Chevy truck, big 4-wheel drive, that was my daily driver. That's what I drove. And I towed the race car with it and everything. I had converted it over to a 5-speed and did the interior up on it, put a vintage air system on it. This is a clean old truck. It was patinaed as all get out, but it needed paint. But other than that, it was perfect. Except for one thing that I didn't know about at the time. And whoever owned it before me did a patch job on the gas tank that didn't hold.
Oh, boy.
And that night at the hotel, I took my car to the hotel, and Brent was in his RV. He had his RV and everything and stayed at the track, and he was parked right next to me. Well, 20 gallons of fuel drained through the cab of the truck onto the ground, and I get there, and I'm like tearing my car apart, or my truck apart, getting all the carpet and everything out of it because it was soaked in gas. And Brent's like, man, I smelled something last night. I thought it was my car. I kept coming outside and looking. He couldn't figure it out.
Well, that sounds like Brent, yeah.
That's how I met Brent. But at the time, he was racing that big block Chevelle. And I couldn't remember who the heck he was for the life of me. But in my phone, I saved his phone number as Big Block Chevelle. And that's what I knew him as for like a year until I finally changed it to put Brent Percival in there. But
that was probably the maroon Chevelle with the silver on the side, I think.
Yeah, it was. That was a beast.
Yeah, that was the first car he had when we met him. Yeah.
So I met Ramey online via him, and I started chatting because you guys were doing some 5th gen work at the time, and I had my 5th gen, and I was doing pretty well on the thing. And so we got to talking on some of the stuff you guys were working on with the 5th gen platform, and that's how I got to meet you guys. And so it was a pretty cool deal. And then, kind of started the OSS, started the OSS in 20, and you guys were the first company that we were to go direct with.
Oh, good.
And I was at LS Fest and talking to Amy about what we were doing, and he's like, let's get set up. So kind of a cool deal for us. But so you guys built your catalog out and got to meet you guys and everything like that, and it's been awesome. And then we're looking at 6-7 years ago now that you guys got into the track ownership side of things?
Yeah, so it's October 2017. We purchased the tracks. So what are you talking? Yes, going on 7 years now, and that was a heck of an adventure. That's been a fun thing. A lot of stress, a lot of extra work. Makes you wonder if it's worth it sometimes. But that was definitely a new addition that we didn't really expect to have. It just kind of came around and happened.
I can tell you this from a participant thing, and I will confidently say this. I speak for everyone when I say this. We all think it's worth it. Good. Being a participant up there, that is one of the best events that I have ever been to. Yeah. And I know that is there's a lot of people that would feel the same way on that one. So
yeah, that's kind of our goal is, when we first got it, funny story. So I always wanted a test facility, whether it was a dream or just, at the time we would rent our local Penn State test track here and there. And we had a local airport that our SCCA uses. We would rent it every once in a while. And there was rumor that the airport was going up for sale. And that's just an older airport, but really nice landing strip and pad. So I just kind of mentioned across the office a few times that if it ever gone up for sale, it'd be a perfect testing spot for us.
Yeah.
Not that we would seriously buy it or what it was worth, but I was on the beach in September. I was sitting on the beach drinking my Corona with my lime in it, and I got an email from my accountant, Jill, and she says, "Hey, did you see this racetrack for sale?" And it was the local speedway.
Yeah.
And I clicked on the link, and I knew it was for sale. I knew of the speedway. I mean, Ramey's raced there for years.
Yeah.
So I was aware of the speedway. I was aware it was for sale. It's been for sale for about a year and a half, but I'd only been there one time, and my experience there wasn't good. They did one of the previous owners that was renting it did a ride and drive program where you pay to drive a stock car.
Yeah.
So we went up there on a Saturday. He came into the shop and talked us into doing it, and Ramey was going to be one of the drivers, and then we could drive. So we went up. This is prior. This is probably like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
So we went up to the track, and we pull into this place, and it's kind of already a gloomy, rainy day, which doesn't help. But you pull in, and there's weeds as high as my chest. I'm driving down the entryway, and it's just kind of like a mud lane, and there's an old yellow trailer there. It's fallen in, and we kind of go around, and we go into the track, and it just there's trees growing up through the pavement, and there's weeds. And it's just it's sad, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So then he pulls this car out that we're going to drive, and the car won't start. So we're there for like 3 or 4 hours. Ramey's working on the car. There's fuel filters and there's lines flying, and they can't get the car running.
Yeah.
So my experience of the racetrack was just this old defunct thing that to me almost needed pushed in with dirt. And my day was ruined, and I was out of there. Right,
fill the hole in.
Yeah. So Jill sends me this link to the racetrack is for sale, and I click on it, and I'm like, man, I have no interest in this place. I was like, it's fallen in, it's a mess.
Yeah. So
I'm sitting there on the beach, and I have my drink. I start thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's more potential there than I see. So I'm acquaintance with the owner, so I sent an email to him, and I said, hey, why don't you set something up? Let's look at it. So he emailed me back and said, as soon as you get back, I'd love to show you around. So the guy bought off of Tim, awesome guy, super good guy. He wanted somebody to own the facility that was going to continue racing at it. So other people wanted to buy it either to develop, or one guy wanted to buy it for a hunting camp. So he wanted somebody to buy it that was going to continue racing there. So on our way back from the beach, it was funny. We drove 10 hours back from the beach. It was me and Ashley. And we got about a half hour from home, and Ashley could tell that my mind was just running, And she's like, you want to go look at it now, don't you? And I'm like, well, kind of. So we went about an hour out of our way before we went home, went up there and pulled in. And I actually have a couple of pictures. Some of the old pictures I post are Ashley standing up on the flag stand. And it's sad, It's just kind of pulling. It's like kind of like you're deflated because you're all excited about something, and then you pull in and you see it, But man, it just stuck with me. I was like, there's potential there. Something can happen there. So about 2 weeks later, we're signing papers on it, and man, we pulled in about a week later after we signed papers. I brought the whole crew of the shop. We brought weed whackers and chainsaws and mowers and every piece of equipment we could find, and just chopping, hauling tires and tearing down ticket booths and just anything and everything we could do to just kind of get a start on it.
I mean, did you keep the yellow trailer at least? I mean, the
yellow trailer is gone. No, that's where our big party pavilion is now. So that used to be a yellow mobile home that was falling in.
Oh man, I mean that could have been fixed in some way, right?
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
Oh man, that is that's insane because I would say that. I mean, I remember following along on the pictures and everything when you guys bought the place, but I don't. Not having actually been there in its old state, you don't really know the amount of change that's undergone.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, like when I got it, it was so rough to me that I wish we would have taken more before pictures. It's just one of those things that you're not like in your head, I guess. You're just not thinking, well, I'm going to have this restored in a couple of years and it's going to be better. You're kind of just, I don't know, maybe a little stressed out, a little worried about what you did. You just want to get started. Yeah. I wish we would have taken some more before pictures. But our plan when we first got it was we were just going to use it for a test facility. If we can get it fixed up a little bit and we could haul car up there, it's 25 miles or so from our current shop. So we could haul car up there. But man, as I looked at it more and more, I thought there's potential for an event. Yeah. And we had ran our first event in 2017 at our local airport called the UMI Autocross and Cruising. It was a car show and an autocross.
Yeah.
And it went really good. So it kind of had me amped up on doing it again. So as I'm sitting there, I'm like, we can't have this racetrack and not run our second event not being here.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. So it was just full on from October till, July of the next year. It was just full on painting and cutting and tearing stuff down and fixing and just anything and everything we could do to hold our first event there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it was July of 2018 was our first event there. And or it might have been beginning of August, and it sold out. People were excited to come, and it's been pretty good ever since. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. The cool thing is how it's expanded since then. I mean, you guys are running. King of the Mountain came 2 years later?
Yeah. So no, it was the next year. It was the next year, 2019. So after we ran our first event in 2018, I was excited. It was like everything went good. Everyone had fun. We had potential. And I'm sitting there, I think in the fall of 2018, and I'm like, more people need to see this facility. I said, yeah, not that I think it's something spectacular. I mean, it's a work in progress, but I just saw the potential there. And I thought more people will enjoy this. And I started to try to think of ways that we could get people to come. What are ways? And one of them was money. Let's entice people with money. Whether that was why people come or not, I don't know. But, I started looking at it. It's just like there was really no autocross events out there that had payouts. And if they did, I mean, I'm sure there is. I don't want to say it that way. But there wasn't any big payouts in autocross. And I thought, let's throw a, run what you brung, big payout event. And let's see if we can get some of these drivers from all over the country to travel here.
Yeah.
And, it worked. At first it was funny. I had Dan Ballard came. Dan Ballard had a good time.
Oh, and Dan actually posted a comment earlier too.
Yep. He came. I just remember this. So he wasn't going to come at the last minute. He's like, you know what, we're going to come. So it was him and I think it might have been Trent Summers that had came. And at the end of the event, the King of the Mountain first one went great. At the end of it, he came to me and he was like, Ryan, to be honest with you, the only reason I came is I wanted to see this crap show, but he used the other word. I just wanted to see his crap show happen. He just thought it was going to be a big fail, and he shook my hand and congratulated me, and he's been back ever since. So
yeah,
it was a good feeling. So,
that's awesome.
I'll never replace the feeling of that first King of the Mountain when the fireworks went off and Jeremy went by with his checkered flag. I just don't think that's anything I can ever replace that feeling. Of
I can imagine.
Yeah. satisfied, you know?
Yeah, no, I can completely get it. That makes God, I can only imagine, because the amount of work going into that. I mean, not only getting it ready, but I mean, just the amount of prep for the event itself. That doesn't even include what you guys had to do to the track a year and a half prior, and what you do every year to the track, off season time.
Yep. The hard part is now, Josh, is we do new stuff every year. I'm having trouble keeping up because people are starting to expect it. What are you doing this year, Ryan? What's happening? What's changing? And eventually I'm going to run out of ideas, I think, but we still have good things in the works, but sometimes I think I have trouble keeping up with myself. Last year I'm trying to top what I did last year, and how do I top it, or how do we top it? And, maybe I just need to let things alone sometimes and let them go. But
yeah,
I'm just always determined to try to make it better or different, or, I guess that's what's making it great too, is, we're always motivated to go to the next level or take it to the next step.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing too. I mean, every year that we've been back, it's been a great time. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to make it up, just because I looked at the map. That was actually one of the first things I looked at when I decided Florida was the place to come to. And I looked at the map and I'm like, man, that's 1,150 miles. That's a little bit farther.
Well, you get your crew up here. You might have to fly in and just hang out.
Oh, that's we've talked about that a few times too. Talked about that with Chris and Tim and everybody. They're like, hey, you just fly in and you do a fly and drive.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, co-drive, and we'll save a dirt bike up there for your boy. Bring your boy along.
Yeah,
we'll have a dirt bike up there for him.
Oh man, that kid tears that place up on that bike.
Oh yeah, he was hours and hours. He loved it.
And if he's not tearing up that bike, he's tearing up. Brian Pico's on a cruise right now, so we're gonna throw this out there, because he would laugh when he sees this next week when he gets back. But if he ain't tearing up his own dirt bike, he's tearing up Brian's little scooter.
Oh yeah, the scooter. Yeah,
he rolled that thing over, and I'm like, "How did you roll this over?" Well, we were driving, and it just went like this, and then it tipped. I'm like, I drove this thing. It only goes like 8 miles an hour. I don't know how you did that. Oh, but yeah, and that's the thing too, man. Like, everyone goes there. It's a race. Got it. And we have a good time racing, but there's almost as many kids as there are drivers, and they're out having just as much fun between the playground and running around, and just like, it is a family friendly environment. So,
yep. That's kind of the goal is to make an environment that, so I went to a seminar at PRI on racetracks, and some of the stuff they tell you is just really basic, but you got to think about it. It's, and I forget who was given the seminar, but anyway, the two things I picked up from it were, have clean restrooms, especially clean ladies' restrooms, because if your wife or girlfriend or fiance has a good time, then you're going to come back because she wants to come back. And they said, have good, cheap food. Now, I don't know if we've done real good with the cheap food, but we always have good food,
Oh, yeah.
But basically overall is if your family has fun, your wife and kids or whatever, they're going to want to come back, which means you're going to come back. If your wife comes and she's miserable, it's still a good chance that you're going to come too, but she's not going to come back with you. And then if you mention you're going to go there, she's going to say, well, why do you want to go back to that junk hole?
Yeah.
So I just think creating an environment for the family is really beneficial. I mean, kids are looking forward to it. The wives all kind of have their little group now, and they all hang out and they become friends. And I know Ashley's made a lot of great friends from it. And we got a good group up there. And Oakland has her little posse now. They're all riding around on dirt bikes, and he's showing them trails. And it's a good thing. It's been a really neat thing.
It's funny. Everyone's talking about bathrooms right now. Ashley posted up cleanest bathrooms. And funny thing is too, is that every time I've ever showed up and I've gotten there at a reasonable time on Thursday, and not like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, you're in the bathroom sweeping and picking up right before the day starts. So
I'm always trying to clean something. I don't know. It's just it's like people are coming into your house. If you have a party at your house and people are coming in, you're just always busy. You're stressed. You want it to look nice. You don't want somebody to complain, and you're just always kind of at something. So
no, 100%, man. So that's awesome. So for this year, what's on the docket for this year? So we've got Muscle on the Mountain Autocross Challenge, and then King of the Mountain.
Yep. We have Autocross Week is coming for a day. So Autocross Week has us on somewhere in their mid stop.
Okay.
So we're going to do, I think it's Thursday, the 11th, autocross week stopping. We're going to do a big breakfast for them in the morning when they come.
Okay,
And,
good.
but yeah, the main events are Muscle on the Mountain, Autocross Challenge, and King of the Mountain. I'm kind of, I don't want to say maxed out on events right now, but the 3 events has been kind of a sweet spot that we can keep up with and, do a good job. Sometimes I'm afraid of putting on too much on myself and my team. That track for us is part-time. We're full-time chassis and suspension manufacturer, and the track's kind of the side hustle, as they would say, or the side gig. So it's all connected.
Yeah.
But my guys have to give up their weekend or whatever to go up there and run an event. So right now the 3 events seems like a good spot. I don't know what the future holds for more, whether we get a couple organizations that would come in maybe and rent it and we could help, or I'm not quite sure yet. But the 3 have been doing good. So
well, I'm gonna throw Chris Brown out here because he's the one of the head honchos, we'll say, for the Mid Atlantic Car Fest, and I think they need to give you guys a phone call and consider using the facility for the Car Fest. That's a pretty cool event that they put on. It's like a miniature one lap of America.
Yeah, it looked really neat. It looked good. Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, they
set up.
Basically, that you get a day of drag racing in, you get a day of autocross in, you get a road course day in too, and plus there's distance travel between each event. It's a miniature one lap kind of thing.
Yeah, they could put us on a stop or something. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, definitely would be. So you got the 3 events going on. We got King of the Mountain, kind of the big end of the year finale thing. Yep. Is there any surprises that people need to make it an extra point to be there?
No big surprises this year. So I think that's one of the things is we've done so much of that's something people look for.
Yeah.
So that's tough to always keep up with that. So no big surprise. I think our focus this year is just to run good, clean events. We've kind of got a good pattern now, a good system. We haven't changed much other than we've adjusted classes a little bit and, made some changes there. But right now I think it's just focusing on doing what we know, running a good event, kind of sticking with that realm right now.
Yeah.
We do plan on doing some paving. So I got some ideas for paving. So we always try every year to add some kind of new part of the track that people can run on. So that's definitely on the radar. But yeah, for this year, it would be just focusing on the 3 we have and just doing a really, really good job accomplishing those.
That's awesome. Now, I'm definitely excited about the year. I know, last year we had a lot of success there. I mean, gosh, I think we had 3 guys from the OSS team that made it to the shootout.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Tim went 2 rounds deep into it. And right now he can, up until this next year of season, sit there and talk about how he's faster than Jeff now.
Yeah.
But they both got in. Chris was able to get in as well. And I wasn't up there last year, but I watched it live for the entirety, which was awesome. It was a different experience for me because obviously I wanted to be there, but seeing it live, you guys did a really good job with this.
Yeah, I thought my crew did pretty good. We kind of did that last minute. We had a person hired to come in. And due to some difficulties, they couldn't come. So we didn't have any equipment or anything. So we threw all that together in, I'm going to say, just a little bit over a week.
Yeah.
We rented all the equipment. We ran all the wires. I'd never seen so many wires ran across the racetrack before. We're just running wires. And the thing is, for somebody to sit back and watch it, it doesn't look like there's a lot of work. A couple cameras and oh man, but it's a stressful situation setting it up. I thought my guys did a really good job. The drone stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
So we plan to keep building on that and maybe even do some live stuff at Muscle on the Mountain.
That'd be awesome.
Show it. Yeah.
Muscle on the Mountain was a blast because it kind of goes back to the old pro touring roots where, it's all a bunch of big engine rear wheel drive type stuff, the big American muscle stuff.
Yep. I was really excited about that one. I mean, muscle cars is kind of where our stuff is. That's where our bread and butter is. So to have a muscle event made sense. Eventually I'd like to maybe see it kind of on the realm of King of the Mountain where it's, maybe more of a late evening show and a crowd in there. I'm not real sure on that yet, but just overall it's been a good event. It's the classing seems to be pretty good. Guys are fighting against cars that are competitive to them.
Yeah.
And it was a really good hit last year, and this year it seems like it's going to be too. So.
No, it definitely is, and so we're excited about that one. We've had the honor for the last 2 years we talked with you guys and with Ramey a little bit a couple of years ago, and created the Rookie of the Year award for King of the Mountain, and it's been really cool because you get to meet the new people that come out there and race, and you guys kind of took our idea and ran with a little bit more with the flags and everything.
Yeah.
That was even better. Like Ramey hit me up after the fact. He's like, "What'd you think of the flag?" And I'm like, "Man, that was the coolest thing. Like, it was awesome." So, we were really honored to be able to be part of that and help support the track just the same. It's been a great deal. I mean, you guys have done a lot to help us out and get our foot in the door of just kind of, just getting started.
Yeah. No, I mean, we appreciate the support, and I thought the flag thing was cool. I mean, we have a marketing meeting every week, and there's ideas tossed around. What can we do better? And, sometimes stuff doesn't work out and some ideas are silly and, but we come up with some good stuff sometimes. And I like that one. That was really cool. The pictures are awesome with that, especially when they're cruising around the parade laps. And yeah. No, I'll tell you what, when I watch the parade laps, I would say every year I'm probably pretty teary eyed. It's kind of it's a good feeling. I don't know if it's a feeling of relief or if it's what it is, but
no, man, it's awesome, man, because you guys created something from literally nothing, and this style of event has never been done, and you guys were kind of the first to do it. So I'd say it's a good deal.
Yeah, and the course itself, I mean, they're not always real long, and I think if you look at it from the outside, you're kind of like, it looks a little slow, but man, I don't know, when you run there, it's intense. I mean, it's a different environment, it's a different feel.
It is a totally different environment. For me personally, I can go, and I've ran well in a lot of different places, but I go run there and I am not, for whatever reason, I just don't run well there.
Yeah, we've had people, we have both ways. We got some people that kill it there, and we got some people that can perform great anywhere else. And when they come there, it's just, but you know what? That's what makes it a challenge. To me, it's not something you give up on. It's just, hey, learn this. I think that's how most people take it.
Oh yeah. I come back a better driver every single time, but it's definitely a place that it's different because you've got different types of asphalt, because where you guys have, repaved and new, that's fresh asphalt. And then the infield's still different from the track itself when the way they, that asphalt was laid and everything, and coming off the banking, and there's just a whole list of things that you don't always see in other places. And it makes it challenging.
Yep. Yeah. We had one night before it was a week before King of the Mountain this year, and Roger had the, shootout course all set up, and I was testing the lights, so I'll go up there a lot of times and just turn the lights on, let them run. And so Oakland was with me, and we turned the lights on, and the 71 Camaro back here was there. And I said, Oakland, let's do some laps. I never ran the shootout course, and, well, granted, I had her in there, so I was going a little bit easier, but she was buckled in with a helmet, so for anybody yells at me for taking a little kid out. But man, that course is intense. I mean, a lot of it is just, where do you have the guts at, and sitting there watching it, to me, the finish was always the finicky part, but when you're driving it, it's actually whoever can get through the first part the fastest to me is where you're leading, because that takes a lot. It took a lot of guts to go into turn one at the speed they were going. So, I mean,
and what's interesting, you say that too. And I didn't notice, when I'm at the track, I don't pay attention to the driving as much during the shootout because you're with your friends and you're usually in one spot of the track. But watching it live, you could see that because you guys had different cameras for different where the car was at. And you're able to notice that. And I would say specifically in the shootout itself, there was the winners, the winner, it was made in that first corner, because anyone that lost a round moving forward generally coned coming out of turn 2 down to the middle of the track, right about there, and their run was done.
Yep.
Because it's that competitive. I mean, a cone is just going to kill you.
Yep.
And with Sam Strano winning this last year, I mean, Krebsback had lapped the field, and we knew what he was capable of running, but he got bit by the cone bug.
Yeah, it's that ending where you have to do 3 consistent ones. I mean, that was kind of the point of it, it was just to make it more challenging. Not that we wanted to see Sean lose by any means, but it was just and it got him, and that's just part of it. And man, Sam was calm and collective, he did good. It was a good year. It's neat watching people come back in, they're either super calm or I know, like Mike Casino, I've seen him come in, he's jumping up and down. It's the funnest course I've ever ran, and so it's a neat experience. So,
well, I'll tell you too, I'm going to give a shout out to him because he is the nicest guy you'll probably ever meet at the track, and him racing his car, it's the most non-assuming car you would ever think to be running as fast as this. Old Leaf Spring Wheatcraft.
Oh man,
his second gen, man. God, he is unbelievable in that car. Made it all the way to the big show, and he's running your guys' front.
I know. The coolest thing is he's just on. I mean, he's on off the shelf control arms, and he's just unbelievable.
He's not even running any lightweight stuff. I mean, it's a normal car, and he's on a 12-to-1 steering box. It's not like he's got some 8-to-1 fanciness. 12-to-1 box. He just the dude's a wheel man.
Yep. Yeah, he's. I was impressed. Yeah, and he's so kind about it too. He's not, he's not big-headed or Chris is just, hey Chris, you did awesome. Hey, thanks Ryan. And that's he's happy to have his son there with him. So that's really what it's about. The father-son the relationships, the family.
No, 100%. 100%. No, it's going to be an exciting season. So we're pretty busy this year. We kind of jumped into the Ultimate Streetcar Series for this year. So I'm actually down in Florida right now, and I'll be heading down from here. I'm outside of Tampa, but down to Sebring this weekend, and we're going to be there for that. Chris Brown's coming down too.
Yeah, good.
So hope to see him crush it on track this week, and then we're going to make it out to a few more of the Optima events this year, and then we definitely we will have our folks at the UMI events this year, and
good.
I gotta give Ramey a call this week, and I'm gonna dime ourselves out now because we haven't hashed everything out yet, but we definitely want to be back for Rookie of the Year for most.
For good chance. Yeah. That's one thing I'm terrible at, Josh, is any kind of sponsorship, or it's hard to do. It's just hard to get. Not hard to get, but just, I don't know. I've just never been good at that. Never been good at trying to sell people on stuff. I'm like, hey, if you want to be a part of it, it's great. So we appreciate the support.
Heck yeah.
And,
it's something we definitely want to be at. Chris says that he won't be here this year, and I'll let him make the announcement himself on why he won't be there at King of the Mountain this year. But we'll have a good part of the rest of the team there. So, since Chris ain't going to be there, I'm going to go ahead and just ask him publicly right now. Well, if I happen to be on the invite list when it comes out next month, Chris, let me borrow the S550. But yeah, so Ryan, you guys have built an awesome thing, and your guys' story is, for me personally inspirational because you came from a very small background. There wasn't a lot there, and I started this company in 3.5 years ago at this point, and the idea came right about 4 years ago. COVID was locking the place down, and nobody had anything to do, and I had like 3 or 4 different friends call me up asking me for ideas on what to do to their car. And I'm like, well, do this, that, and this. And I'd build a cart for them on Summit or Jegs or wherever. And I'm like, buy all these things. And after about the third person, I realized, why am I sending them away when I could be selling this myself? And it kind of created that idea. And it was kind of moved on from there. And, like I said earlier, you guys were the first company we were direct with, and we weren't just using a wholesale distributor for. And so that's pretty cool for us. And it's been a really awesome ride. And you guys have done a lot to help us on the marketing front and the mentorship. I mean, Ryan, I know you're a busy guy, and you give me your time to talk over business ideas and just give me the mentorship, and Ramey with everything he's done too. You know, I got to definitely give you guys a thank you for all that, because it's been.
We can do to help. I mean, I'm learning just as much as you. You know, just every day is a new challenge. Every day you can learn something. Boy, and as soon as you think you know something, the world will show you pretty quick you don't. You know, so we're learning too, and I think we just all have to do this together. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man, and I can't wait to continue this journey. And distance will be a little bit more challenge for me this year, but I definitely plan on being up there for at least one of them in person, and we'll be supporting as much as we can for the others.
Good. And you're saying about, you know, helping people put stuff in their carts. We go through the same thing, Josh. You get people all the time calling for products we don't have, and we just keep making a list, and the list gets longer and longer of stuff we want to build. So it's hard, but you know, you got to do what you can do. You know?
No, definitely can. Well, Ryan, we've been on for about 45 minutes now. We've got awesome viewership. Somebody asked earlier if you beat out JB and Chad, and I don't think quite beat out JB and Chad. I think individually you beat them out, so we'll have to have Tim make another one of those big.
Maybe we'll hype it up and do another one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll hype it up and do another. Definitely. Maybe we'll have to do it. We'll have to do a recap after one of the events this year.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I'm open for that. Yep.
But yeah, no. So we had some scheduling conflicts, but the whole point behind having you come on too was kind of it was our second anniversary. When we've been doing the SITREP now for 2 years, and I actually think you are episode number 80.
Oh wow! Good for you.
My brother Braden, you know, one of the my partner at the business and everything, he is going through and getting all of our previous episodes downloaded so we can start pushing them to Spotify. So stay tuned on Spotify for us.
Good.
But yeah, I think this is episode number 80, man. So
good for you.
Big thank you for being part of this with us and just helping us on this journey.
I appreciate what you're doing for me. It takes a lot to do this, Josh. You've been consistent with it and stuck with it. And a lot of people give up on stuff so easy anymore. So it takes work. And I know that.
It's a ton of work. And I'll tell you, from sit reps every Monday night, they are my favorite thing to do. I look forward to Monday evenings because I just love getting out in front of people and talking to everybody and seeing the random comments, you know, tortilla slaps for JB and Chad and whatever else they're, you know, Chris Brown talking about UMI parts coming to a takeover near you. So, no, I love that part of it. And, you know, I still get excited when I get a guy that calls and he's got a laundry list of things and wants to buy a bunch of stuff. So
that's good. That's the feeling. Yep. Helping somebody and hearing their success stories when they come back. We do that at trade shows a lot. There's a lot of shows I've done for years that I just don't get excited to do anymore. And I've been going to Carlisle for, I don't know, 21 years now, you know. Yeah. So sometimes I don't get as excited to go, but man, when I go, I do talk to a customer and he comes up and he shakes your hand, he tells you thank you. And, you know, him and his son did this project together, or, you know, it was a tribute to his grandfather, whatever the story is, you know, it always makes you kind of reminds you, you know, why you're doing it. You know, it's not just about making parts and making money, you know, it's a whole community of things that we're doing. And,
oh yeah. You know, it is. And, you know, the Bing Bong duo, Jeff and Tim, got the cornhole tournament going on now up there. And they're
that's an awesome thing. Yep. I told them the most thankful part. My most thankful part is that I don't have to do it. You know, that's why I keep telling them, like, you guys just keep doing it. So.
Oh yeah, man, definitely awesome. So,
and then one time they opened it up to the public, and we had the couple local drunkards come in, and they won too. I think they won. I think they had to take their trophy.
Oh man.
So.
Paul, we're going to throw this out there because I love Paul to death. He's awesome. He says it's way more glamorous than ice. No one thanks me for keeping their beer cold. I mean,
he does do a good job of keeping us iced up there. So
that's the ice man.
Yeah, ice man. Yep. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, right on. Well, Ryan, thank you again for coming on. Facebook land, thank you for tuning in. And we also got the YouTube up tonight. So
great.
For everyone that's watching, thank you for coming out or, you know, tuning in and watching. And we'll see you guys at a track this year. We're going to be at Sebring. I'll be there as well as Chris Brown this weekend. So if you're in the area, come out and check it out. The Optimum events are a lot of fun, a lot of racing out there. And if you are up north, and even if you're not driving, get your butt to UMI Motorsports Park and hang out.
First one is June. Yep.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys. If you need help with your builds, give us a call. We are a proud dealer for UMI, so we will definitely get you set up with everything you need.
Yep.
And on that note, Ryan, thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Yep. It's a good time.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, guys.
Have a good night.